My friends are fighting again. One of my neighbors never gets visits from their family, and another broke her arm.
Sounds like your friends and neighbors need God's oil of joy. Can you share some with them? My name is Zach, and this is Keys for Kids. Thanks for joining me today. Isaiah chapter 61 verse 3 says this, "I will give them the oil of joy instead of sorrow, and a spirit of praise instead of a spirit of no hope." Jesus was anointed with God's oil of joy, and if you're a Christian, you have it too. The oil of joy is just another way of saying that even if things in your life are difficult, you can still be happy because God is with you. And that's what our story is all about today. It's entitled, Oil Needed. "Dad, can I use your oil can to get rid of the squeak in the cupboard doors?" Jayden asked. "Mom said I could oil the hinges, and if they don't get oiled soon, the squeaking is going to drive her crazy." Dad laughed as he took the oil can from the workbench and handed it to Jayden. "Then by all means, take it away," he said. When Jayden returned the oil can sometime later, Dad was still at his workbench. "I oiled the hinges all over the house," Jayden said. "I told Mom that if she hears any squeaks now, she'll know we have mice. She says that would really drive her crazy." They both laughed, and then Jayden went out to play basketball with some friends. At dinner that evening, Jayden shared the neighborhood news. "Troy and Kai are mad at each other again," he said. "And did you know that Mrs. Gentry broke her arm? She fell down her front steps." Jayden helped himself to a piece of ham. "And Mr. Gomez stood at his window for half an hour and watched us play basketball. I guess he doesn't have anything better to do." Jayden nibbled his salad. "It sounds like the people in our neighborhood could use some oil," Dad observed. "Oil?" asked Jayden. "What do you mean?" "The Bible says Jesus gives the oil of joy to those who trust in Him, and it sounds like some of our neighbors could use a little joy in their lives," Dad replied. "I think it would be nice if you spread some oil of joy around the neighborhood." "Yeah?" Jayden scratched his head. "I know one thing I can do. I can offer to rake leaves for Mrs. Gentry. I don't know what I can do about Troy and Kai, though, but I'll think of something." Jayden eyed the dessert on the counter. "Can I take a piece of pie to Mr. Gomez?" he asked. Then he grinned. "And I better take an extra piece so I can sit down and eat with him." Dad nodded. Those all sound like good ways to spread the joy of Jesus and remind others of His love for them. So how about you? Are you spreading joy? The Bible says Jesus was anointed with the oil of joy. If you belong to Him, you can have that same joy in your heart too. Will you share it with others? Offer a kind word to help someone feel better. Take a few minutes to chat with a neighbor who lives alone. Lend a helping hand to take the hardship out of somebody's day. Let the joy you have in Jesus point people to Him. Our key verse is found in the Old Testament book of Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 3.
"I will give them the oil of joy instead of sorrow, and a spirit of praise instead of a spirit of no hope."
And our key thought today, spread joy.
Hey Zach, what's the best way to stay calm and not be afraid?
Hey Anaya, thanks for sending me your question. For me, the best way to stay calm is to pray. Sometimes I go for a walk and kind of pray to God silently, and sometimes I write my prayers down in a notebook. There are a lot of different ways to pray, but the most important thing to remember is that prayer is one of the ways that God keeps us calm. Here's a Bible verse that I hope helps. You can memorize it or you can write it down and tape it to your wall as a reminder. Philippians 4:6. Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank Him for all that He's done. Well, I hope that helps. I'm Zach. Thanks for listening to Keys for Kids.